Come on, Chelsea. Come on, Chelsea. Oh, season's not dead yet. We're still alive. Not for too much longer, though. We'll see what happens. All right, welcome everyone back to the American Blues podcast. I like to talk about Fulham, Chelsea, 2-1 win. My God, we somehow clawed that win just out of our ass. Got it last minute. And you know what? With just how negative I've been feeling about the club and Maresca's comments, Maresca's tactics lately, our just team being so unable to play basic football. This was a nice little bright spot. We got a lifeline, at least for another week. We got a lifeline. So let's talk about the positives. Tyreek George, my man, my goodness, great for you. I remember when he came on, I was like, great. Our first team players are so bad that all we can do is bring on an academy player in a losing game and expecting him to make a difference. But what a difference he made. Came on for Nicholas Jackson, who this game, definitely not one of his better ones. Extremely frustrating. Couldn't even take a touch, let alone take a shot. But Tyreek George going up front, the goal that he scored, first of all, great cross coming in. You know, all game, we're just slinging in balls into that box and nothing happened. There were good looking crosses too, from Palmer to Enzo to Reece James, especially to Neto, just hitting crosses after crosses after crosses, but no one's getting on the end of them. But Tyreek, center of the box, didn't take a touch, didn't think about it, just instinctive finish. Didn't even hit it that hard, but just perfect placement into that bottom right corner. Amazing. Couldn't be happier for him. I think that was his first goal in the Premier League. I think he's going to go on and have just an absolute fantastic career. Is he going to be good enough to be one of like regular starting players at Chelsea? Who knows? Who knows? It's not like our strikers can score goals right now anyways. Not strikers. Well, yes, striker, but our starters. So why not? You know, as long as he's scoring, I say play him and start him the next game. Please, my God, so we can have someone who can finish. God. But I would say until that point, man, we looked terrible. Fulham, really good team this year. They play like a team. They work super hard. They really crowded the midfield, gave us just like nothing to work with. And of course, Reece James, we've seen this more than once this season, especially when he goes out to midfield. He is prone to losing the ball. He is not very spatially aware as much as you would want your midfielder to be. And I don't know if it was a lack of communication from the teammates around him that didn't tell him someone was coming behind him. But that wasn't really a foul. That was just good shoulder to shoulder. They got the ball. And of course, we were so out of position that Iwobi was just free run into the top of the box. Endo tried his hardest to get back in position. Couldn't do anything. And great shot. Sanchez had no chance. So, yeah, rolled into the corner. And right after that, I was like, well, I guess that goes our season. We just go out with a whimper. But credit to the team. We started out first half real weak. Nobody really seemed to like have the passion or an energy to really go for it. And everybody was just second guessing themselves. Even when we got into good positions with Palmer, with Jackson, with anybody, with Neto, just time after time after time, nobody's putting their foot through the ball. It's all these like really tame, really just weak shots from distance that just roll into the goalie, or they hit it with pace straight at the goalie. That tells me one thing. That tells me, one, they don't have the confidence to hit it hard into a corner, and two, if they do hit it hard, they just want to try to get it on target because, again, they are just so low on confidence. But second half, much better. And after that goal by George, man, we finally, God, he like single-handedly injected straight energy into every single player's veins, and we started pushing and pushing and pushing. And Pedro Neto, for all the times that today that he shot and it went nowhere, this shot, another instinctive finish, great little touch brought it on the turn, one bounce, hit it out of the air. Amazing. It was fired pretty much at the goalie too, but it was just hit with so much power that it actually broke the net. Crazy. Like, he can strike the ball hard, but this was a fantastic goal. So with that, you can see just how much this win meant to players. Caicedo fell down. Palmer fell down. All our defenders were running towards each other, giving each other hugs. Yeah, well deserved win. Now, overall, I've seen a lot of negative chatter about Maresca lately, and I don't think he's helped himself. Blaming the fans for Ipswich's 2 goals is never a good idea. Saying that both of those came from long balls because our fans pressured them to play long ball, that is a cop-out horse shit answer if I've ever heard one. No, it is on you to teach your defenders to defend and not to make simple mistakes. This is not the fans calling for long ball, right? This is not on the fans. The fans pay for the tickets. They can act how they want during the game. They could chant what they want during the game. But giving away a long ball and then not doing a basic defensive covering, not on the fans. And don't ever put that on the fans because that is only going to get you a one-way ticket out of the club. And even today after the game, he tried to play it off as no big deal that it belonged to the players, but he went immediately down the tunnel. Who knows? I think earlier in the season, he had really good rapport with the fans. Fans were chanting like, we got our Chelsea back. Now it's not really seeming that way anymore. Him saying, I only know how to play one way. That's a load of shit. Look at Carlo Ancelotti. He is one of the greatest managers in the history of the game. He doesn't play a system. He just plays whatever his players will thrive best in. That's it. Pure and simple. He has a collection of players. He goes, all right, what will bring the best out of each and one of these players? And sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you can have a system, but you can still be flexible and you can still do what's the best for your players. And I think a prime example is Reece James. Does he have qualities that could be good in the midfield? Sure. He's really strong. He's obviously incredibly athletic. His passing range is wildly good. Probably one of the best on the team. And there was one showcase in the first half where he got the ball, turned, saw, I forgot who was playing on. I think it was Neto on the left and just hit a one-time floating pass out to him on the left. Perfect placement. Yeah, those passes are incredible. But then you can see the negative side, which is he's not a natural midfielder. He doesn't really have the spatial awareness for it. And he lost the ball that went directly towards us, giving away a goal. Again, you are using one of the best generational right backs on the planet. Yes, he's injury prone, but he is still on his day one of the best right backs, not in just the league, but in the world. And we are putting him in midfield. Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes it makes sense, but to do it every single game, no matter the circumstance, that does not make sense to me. That is not being flexible. That's not reading the other team. That's just being stubborn and making players play in your system where maybe sometimes that's not the best idea. So, yeah. But let's not be too negative. We can be plenty negative whenever we do drop out of top 5 and there's no chance of coming back because we got some real tough games ahead. My God. So, 3 points in the back today. Huge win. Hopefully that gets us a lot of momentum and confidence going forward. We have another team in the Conference League whose name I can't even attempt to pronounce. Whoever in the semifinals, sure. But my God, please rest our first team players because we desperately need them in the league. And next up, we got Everton at home. Thank God we're not playing at Goodison because we just cannot win at Goodison. But at least we're playing Everton at home. And then comes the absolute nightmare run of, I believe it's Liverpool, Newcastle, United, Forest. What a run. But first step first is all 3 points against Everton. No excuses. We must get maximum points against Everton. And then we'll go into May with a little bit of confidence. And we'll see you against Liverpool. That's going to be real tough. They're about to win the league. They're not looking to drop points. We just can't seem to beat Liverpool no matter what. But if we can get past that hurdle, and that's a big ass if. That is a big fat if. But if that happens, Oh man, those last 3 games this season are gonna be wild. Wild. So hopefully there's still something to watch for after Everton. See you guys after the next one. Peace.